So there were some very interesting revelations during the last episode of The Flash. I'm going to run them down and then make some predictions. So I'm going to jump right into the biggest talking point of the episode. And that was the final scene where Wells comes up with a plan to reperform the particle accelerator incident. In other words, they're going to try to recreate the exact conditions that saw Barry get his speed in the first place. Now this is pretty exciting because it's hopefully going to work for Barry to get his speed back. But it also means they would have essentially mapped out exactly how a speedster can be created. Remember, that's how Eobard Thawne got his speed, by studying how the Flash got his speed, and then recreating those very same conditions. And it also opens up another way for someone to become a speedster that isn't the Velocity 9 route, which of course opens the door for the speedster Wally West to get his speed. Now in The Flash number 110 from 1959, we are first introduced to Wally West as Kid Flash. So originally in the comics, Iris was Wally's aunt, and she introduced him to his hero, the Flash. Wally was then asking the Flash some questions as to how he got his powers, and it just so happens that Barry had set up the chemicals just as they were when he got his powers, and it just so happens that it was a stormy day and that lightning struck the cabinet where the chemicals were, bathing Wally in the same chemicals that created the Flash, thus giving Wally his speed. So he eventually becomes Kid Flash, and the Flash teaches him everything that he knows. He even gives Wally a small version of the same costume. I think the show is probably going to give him a more updated New 52 look when it comes to his costume. Interestingly, initially Kid Flash doesn't actually know that Barry is the Flash, and they may go a similar route for a while in the show. So we just saw in this episode how Joe introduces Wally to the Flash, and Wally is clearly starting to idolize him. And I'm more convinced than ever that he's probably going to get his speed at the same time Barry gets his speed back in the next particle accelerator incident that they create. So in this episode, Barry still doesn't have his speed, but he manages to stop Griffin Grey by getting his CSI on, and by figuring out that Griffin's powers are tied to his aging, and that all they need to do is get Griffin to exert himself enough and he will eventually age out completely. There are a couple of cool references from the comics as Barry, Cisco and Joe fight Griffin at Ace Chemicals, which company is of course referenced in the recent Batman v Superman movie, and we know is where the Joker and seemingly Harley Quinn fall into a vat of chemicals and get their pale complexions. Barry unselfishly risks his life with the help of his upgraded Dwarf Star alloy chestplate suit courtesy of Felicity Smoke. Wells goes looking for and finds his Jessie Quick. There was another reference to Jessie Quick by Cisco telling Jessie he's going to need her quick thinking. And let's hope she eventually does get her speed. I had previously thought there may be some side effects from the Velocity 9 that she was injected with, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Anyway, so Jessie is taking over the Caitlin type role in Caitlin's absence. And talking of Caitlin, I really enjoyed her scenes with Hunter on Earth 2. And of course her scenes with her doppelganger. Now, Hunter explains why he's taken Caitlin. It's because he loves her and he wants her to love him back. And we find out that Killer Frost, aka Caitlin's doppelganger, is really only being kept alive because she reminds Zoom of Caitlin. It was awesome the way Caitlin frees Killer Frost only to have her own doppelganger try and kill her in return. But Zoom rushes in and saves Caitlin and kills Killer Frost. And you've got to think that it was probably Zoom's plan all along by letting Caitlin roam free. So Zoom reckons he loves Caitlin and that she'll start feeling the same way about him again too. Now as we know, Hunter is one truly messed up individual, and in his own sick way, he truly does love Caitlin. I think the only other woman that he truly loved was probably his mother, who, as of course we know, he saw murdered right in front of him by his father. And this is continually referenced by way of flashback whenever Caitlin is talking to him. And there seems to be some kind of inner turmoil within Hunter, especially when he says something that reminds himself of something his father said. So Hunter never threatens Caitlin and reassures her that she is safe, and just warns her that if she tries to free the man in the iron mask like she did with Killer Frost, he will also kill him. So this episode leaves us once again wondering who is the man in the iron mask. Now we don't get many clues, but we do get some. We see him here just tapping away as he normally does. Caitlin asks Killer Frost who he is, to which she replies she doesn't know, she doesn't care, but if he's here, Zoom must need something from him. Whoever the man is has seemingly deteriorated even further and is visibly shaking and is in pain. Could this pain be caused by the cellular degradation caused from Velocity 9, or perhaps some other sickness? And we can clearly hear some very labored breathing coming from his carbine cell. Hunter tells Caitlin that he used to measure success in terms of how many people he killed, but now he says he's going to widen his scope and start counting the number of Earths he conquers. He's already brought Earth 2 to its knees, and he's going back to Earth 1 with Caitlin to conquer it. So as I said before, I think that Zoom has had access to other Earths for a while now through Reverb. Remember, this is Cisco's doppelganger on Earth 2, who was capable of opening breaches to other Earths, and we hear him him referencing other Earths in the multiverse, so I think it's likely that the man in the iron mask is from another Earth in the multiverse, and possibly the real Jay Garrick, who I think is going to turn out to be a doppelganger of Hunter Zolomon. Either that, or the man in the iron mask is Barry Allen from the future, and this may be a crazy theory, but because Zoom is a seasoned time traveler, he may already know that Barry is going to get speed once again, and he may go and steal that speed force again from Barry. So the man in the cell may be Barry from the future, who has been stripped once again of his speed from Zoom. Zoom certainly has a very addictive personality and seems to be addicted to the rush of infusing himself with speed force, so it makes sense that he may have gone after a future Barry. So the next episode is going to see the introduction of the villain Rupture, who in the show is going to be Cisco's brother Dante's doppelganger from Earth 2. He's going to be coming to Earth 1 at the same time Zoom is terrorizing it, and is going to be trying to get revenge for Reverb's death. Now hopefully we're going to see some Flashpoint Paradox-esque scenes of Barry reperforming the incident that gave him his speed, and as I said, hopefully we'll see Wally have the same accident and become Kid Flash. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and then share it. I post lots of videos every week on comic book, movies, TV, including Star Wars, Game of Thrones, and other blockbusters, so why not subscribe? Thanks again. Cheers for now.